right there, just in that moment, before you light that cigarette, before you drown yourself in another beer, before you try to escape reality, let me tell you something. It's not worth it. Good morning, good evening, or good night to the lovely people watching. In today's video, we'll be speaking about burnout and a lot of different things. What you saw me just right now was nearly about to light up a cigarette. Last year, I had a burnout. Quite frankly, the worst burnout in my life ever, because it was a turning point for me, but at the same time, it was fucking exhausting. Day in and day out for nearly 4 weeks, maybe 5. I pushed my mental health, physical health, too much. Imagine, I'm going to speak about the lighter and the cigarette in a couple of minutes, but imagine this. If you run, and you run, and you run, and you run, at some point, the shadow behind you, the energy or whatever, it will catch up to you, and then it'll hit you. You cannot run away from your problems. You need to face them. But how do we face problems and reality when things become too overwhelming, things become too stressful? That's today's video. The reason I nearly lit a cigarette was because, to prove a point, I don't smoke. I'm not a full-time drinker, but I can enjoy a beer every now and then. Just, nice. When life gets too overwhelming, I might grab a cigarette. Because stress is one of the main factors, and pressure, inner and outer pressure, is something that every single human faces. Inside pressure from your mind is most likely performance, where you need to go to work, you need to perform a certain way, and you need to do specific tasks. Time pressure is something I hate. Do this task in X amount of time. When we have goals and desires in life, we will put pressure on ourselves. No matter how small the pressure is, it's still pressure, and it still can create stress. My pressure, for example, is, I need to make a YouTube video every single day in order to get to my goals. If there's a day that I skip, on the scoreboard behind me, it will become a red dot. I'm not saying it's the end of the world for me, but if I'm starting to see that red dot, and it starts to add up, it starts to create sort of a pressure where, I'm not performing at the level that I want. And that causes internal stress, which I can avoid by just saying, okay, I skipped 4 days. Who cares? Moving on. And then you got outer pressure, where you're pressured from work, where you're stressed out, and you need to do this task, that task, this task, that task, day in and day out. At some point, when you do something for far too long, no matter what it is, you will get a burnout. In this point of the video, it was just trying to explain the basics. Now we're going to go to a deeper level. No matter what kind of pressure builds up inside your mind, everything, no matter what kind of pressure is external or internal, everything is on the inside. This is your brain. When you have a burnout, whatever sort of problems you're facing, the main focus is you. We need to fix that. And I'm not saying it's going to be 24 hours and ta-da, done with a burnout session. No, it will take a lot of time, and it will take you time to also realize you need to calm the fuck down. You need to slam on the brakes. Last year, I had a burnout. My issue was I wasn't performing at the level I was when it came to YouTube, when it came to my fitness journey, or my goals and desires to become successful. I was rushing it. That was my problem. I was working 2 jobs, and I was working nearly 12 hours every single day, putting pressure on myself, and need to go to point A to point B and earn money. I had bills to pay, and I was stuck behind on rent, for example. But I was so out of it that tasks like vacuum cleaning, working out, I had to sacrifice it because I had to work so much. And when I started to see that I lost gains, that my clothes started to become my new roommate and dust started to collect in my corners, I started to realize, fuck, I need to get something done here. So how do you get out of it? You start small. You start with the most simplest, easiest task that can be done, that you can think of. For this next step, I'd like you to grab a pen and piece of paper and write down everything. It does not have to be logical. It can be pure bullshit. It's just a way for your brain to get an understanding. After you feel like you've written everything you can possibly think of, flip the page over and write task. The first, and this is a very important step, write down the easiest task you can do. Make my bed. Do 5 push-ups. Organize my shoe rack. Okay, good. Try to do those things. Try to force yourself or let it come naturally. Good. If you need to call in sick for a couple of weeks from work because you're not performing well and your mental health is starting to take its toll because you're burnt out, take time off. If there's one thing I regret was when I was in my burnout session, my brain needed peace, my brain needed stability, my brain needed to be left the fuck alone. I needed to be left the fuck alone. I pushed myself so far throughout this burnout period. I broke down and suicidal thoughts came into my mind. That was something that happened to me, and I wished for you to avoid that situation. So when you're burnt out, you will know yourself better than anyone else. If you can ask yourself this very simple question, what do I need right now? I need to get this done. Okay, write that down. What is the smallest task that needs to be done? This task. Cool. The thing that really helped me was writing. Write down the smallest to the biggest task. For example, I was behind on 2 bills in last year. And I was like, fuck, that is like one of the highest priorities I have. So what I did was I narrowed it down to just waiting till Monday, and I'll call the company, say I will be late paying that bill. And they said, yeah, sure, that's okay. But I got a late fee that I had to pay, and that's fine. I understand that it's not easy with a burnt out period, and there's no estimate amount of time that I can give you that, okay, give it 3 weeks and then you're done. The same goes for a heartbreak. It varies from person to person. What I want you to understand is that it's all right. And another thing I would like to tell you, if you want to speak your mind, if you have something on your heart, call one of the boys. Call a close friend of yours. She'll listen. He will listen. But someone you can truly trust. Because we as human beings, we're social creatures. And something that's very important is to ask for help whenever you need it. Doesn't matter what. If you need advice, ask an elder person. If you need to vent, call one of your bros. Because friendship is not based on just having always a good time. Sometimes friendships is based on someone needs one another. For me, it's easier to say because I've done this thing so many times. I have built myself from the ground up, brick by brick. Honestly, I don't really have anything more to say about a burnt out, except for you need to take care of yourself. Yourself comes first. Never sacrifice yourself in order to help someone else. The mistake that I've done that I don't necessarily regret, but I really learned from, was there was a time and period when I loved someone else harder than I loved myself. I gave more of myself than the person gave back. This was a period a long time ago, during my childhood, during my early 20s. Never sacrifice yourself so much for someone else because you want validation. That's another lesson. Don't go chasing validation, and don't go chasing girls. Chase your dreams and hopes. Along the way, it will require sacrifices. Along the way, it will require hard times. Like if you experience a burnout or a heartbreak, it will require sacrifices. There will also be times and periods where the gym discipline will be sacrificed. But you can always get back to it. If you need to heal and you need to sacrifice the gym for a period of time, then do that. Do new different ways. Yeah. Do different things that can change your perspective. Like every single day, if you feel like your every single day is the same for you, spice something up. I don't mean spice it up by literally rolling a joint. I mean more in the perspective of try something new. If you're broke, try something new that doesn't require money. If you're struggling with your mental health and things become too overwhelming, for example, do what I did. I'm not recommending it. Every single thing you do in your life is your own responsibility. I'm just saying, but you can always ask for help from people that care about you and people you care about. But I'm not a smoker. But I took a smoke last year when things become too overwhelming. That's fine. I grabbed a beer the other day. I don't fucking drink. Never really liked alcohol. But recently I started to like the taste of beer. I like just sitting down after a hard day of work. It was nice. But I do it in moderation. I do it after when I feel like I deserve it. I have this internal bell, I call it, whenever something happens. Like, if I feel like I'm doing something way too much, like, hey bro, we drank 4 beers this week. I'm pretty sure you need to stop and go back to the discipline. Fuck, you're actually completely right. Hey bro, we have been doing 8 energy drinks this week. Alright, it's time to just cut it off. If you can catch yourself before a thought pops up or an action you're about to do happens, fix it. But easier said than done. And some days it will literally be you in bed, staring up into the ceiling, having zero motivation and having zero discipline. And those days are fine too. It's part of the process. Some days you will be bed rotting. Other days you'll be out there and blasting through life. But that's it. If you ever need something, don't hesitate to call the person that pops into your mind. One last thing. Whenever, this is psychology that I learned a long time ago, and it's really helpful for me. Whenever you're facing something, ask yourself that question, and the first thing that pops into your mind is usually the thing that you truly desire. For example, what do you want out of life? I don't know. Right there. Insecurity or unsureness answered for you because you actually don't know what you want out of life. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, fuck, you're 20, you're 22, 23, 24, 25. I don't expect you to have your life figured out yet. But if you can ask yourself a question, what do I want? I don't know. And it's okay to don't know. Because we don't know, we don't have to know every single answer. For example, if there's one thing that I actually like is, I'm an atheist, and I don't believe in any sort of external power. I believe in scientists and scientific things, and that's my point of view. I'm glad that I don't know the answer to what happens when I die. Do I go to heaven? Do I go to hell? Does everything just become pitch black? But I don't go wandering around pondering about it. I like the unknown too, because if we knew the answer to everything, it would be depressing as fuck. It's fun to sometimes ponder about what if, but don't dig too deep to it. Don't start overthinking it. But back to the point. If you can ask yourself a question that, okay, what is on today's plan? Well, I need to get laundry done, I need to make food, and I need to do this. Alright? Then you know what must be done. Those 3 main tasks, write it down, and then follow through with it. Sometimes you need to force yourself to do the things, and other times you just need to understand yourself and not do it. If you're burnt out, do not push yourself too hard, because this is your brain and your body and your soul taking time to heal, taking time to reset. The same goes for an after breakup. You see these guys hit the gym, okay? It's because they're frustrated. They need a way to form their anger into something instead of self-hating themselves, instead of letting this internal anger harm them. So they use it in the gym. Different sort of mechanisms. Another thing, one last thing. If you feel like you're stuck with a problem, what I actually found useful is ask ChatGPT for help. Sometimes speaking to human beings for some people can be a little hard. So ask ChatGPT realistically, and don't get too consumed by it. ChatGPT, if I did this, what would you recommend me doing? Everything, even what I say, ChatGPT, what life tells you, take with a grain of salt. You know yourself better than anyone else. You should know what's best for you. You versus you. It's you versus you. Fuck everyone else. But sequence when it needed. Take care.